Hi guys, my name is Brandon from Brandon Goes Traveling and welcome to my channel. My job is to help you get out there, explore and see the world and really answer any questions that you might have about your upcoming adventures. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Plitvice Lakes in Croatia. And before we get started, Plitvice Lakes is pretty easy to get to from a few locations. So what I did was I flew into Zagreb and then I just took a bus to Plitvice Lakes. And it was about a 3 hour bus. However, if you want to rent a car, that's totally possible. And I think it's about 3 hour drive either way. But it really just depends on what you want to do and kind of how difficult you want to make it for yourself, if you will. So one thing I really like about Plitvice Lakes is it is a 30,000 hectare massive giant national park that really has everything that you think of that or think that a national park should have. You know, it has waterfalls, it has mountains, lakes, wilderness, and one thing I also liked about it too is there's so many trails that you could take throughout the whole national park. And just to point this out, you know, you have this wooden trail here, and these trails kind of go throughout the entire park. So you're able to walk really everywhere. Now, there's a few trails that you can take in Plitvice, and these range on different levels of difficulty. So you have Trail A, which is the easiest, and Trail K, which is the most challenging. Now, when I did this, I took on Trail K, and it says it should take about 6 to 8 hours. I think it took me about five, but then another hour for traffic jams. And what I mean by that is these wooden platforms get incredibly busy. Now they get really busy during the summertime, and I'm not sure if they get that busy during the wintertime, but I'm sure there's still loads of people out and about. And because of that, you do get stuck in these traffic jams that you just can't avoid. So I do caution you, one, to get there early to get some nice photos and to kind of avoid those people kind of being in the way and maybe feeling a bit rushed. But also, you know, because you're in these traffic jams for so long, there might not be an opportunity to buy water or food. So be fully prepared when you go here that you know you're going to want to drink a lot, and you know it is kind of torture when you are surrounded by waterfalls and lakes and it's a hot day and you have no water. So just keep that in mind. That's something to bring on your trip for sure. So another thing I liked about the lakes here is that you have opportunity to travel around even if you're less mobile. So even if you can't walk that well, you still have the opportunity to hop on one of these boats and to go from one island to the next or just do a nice little boat tour. And that's one thing I really liked about this place is they really cater to all ages, whether you're, you know, a child who could, you know, maybe only do trail A, or you're someone who's maybe a little bit less mobile, maybe a little bit more older. You still have the opportunity to make the most of it while you're there. Now, this photo was taken on that wooden platform just a little bit further up. So, you know, I think this photo kind of does it justice. It shows you everything that Plitvice has, you know, waterfalls, lakes, and wilderness. Now, I won't sit here and say this is the best photo of the waterfalls there, but you know, it gets the point across and it shows what there is at Plitvice and some of the views that you're going to be able to see while you're there. So as I was mentioning earlier, there's different trails you could take while you're at the lakes, ranging from different difficulty. So A being the easiest, K being the most difficult. And this photo was taken from Trail K. And what Trail K did was it took you up different steep parts of the national park. And it kind of meandered you out a little bit. And you were kind of at some points feeling like you were walking outside of the park. You weren't, but you kind of felt like that because you were just covered with trees and things like that. Anyways, what this does is it kind of spits you out at different viewpoints where you're up above the waterfalls. So you're able to get that bird's eye view of the canyon and of the waterfalls as a whole. And I think that's something that, one, it just differs itself from the other hikes because you're not going to be as high. You're going to be walking more on a ground level directly in front of the waterfalls. So you might not get those photos that maybe you see on Instagram of the bird's eye view. And that's something I think Trail K really does offer. And I think that's something that you should consider while you're there and if you do decide to do one of these hikes. And again, this is exactly what I was talking about with the bird's eye view of the lakes. So this is something I really did like about Trail K is like I said, you know, you get that full focal point, you're up above everything, and you can really get those nice photos. And this photo here was actually taken kind of on a hidden path on Trail K that's very easy to overlook. So just keep your eye out for it. If you have a map and you get to this around this location on Trail K, keep an eye out for that nook, because I tell you right now, it's really easy to walk by it. And if you do walk by it, you're going to miss a great opportunity to get a photo like this. And don't worry, you will actually walk in front of this waterfall, so it does loop you back up to the right here and back around, and kind of come in like this. So you will get a photo of this, so don't worry about not getting that from up and close. But you won't get that bird's eye view if you don't do Trail K. And again, this was just taken from those wooden platforms. Again, it's not the best waterfall picture in the entire world, but I liked it, especially the way the water was hitting the green vegetation there. And one thing that I thought was pretty cool too is that there's lots of fish in these lakes. I mean, common sense would dictate, yeah, there's fish in the lakes, but they're so clear, you just see schools and schools of fish wandering about, and they're so used to the people there, and they'll come right up to you, and they're not fearless in any way. And it's one of those parts where you're like, oh wow, I'm so close to thousands of fish. You know what I mean? And it is kind of an interesting phenomenon. And this is just going to be a quick, small video of Plitvice Lakes. Only a few seconds long, but it shows you some of the views that you might get while you're there. And after the video, that's going to do it, guys. One thing I will say is it costs about 25 euro to get in to the lakes, depending on what part of the season you go. If you go during the winter time, I believe it's 10 euro. But yeah, just something to keep in mind there.